Merry Christmas, guys! The Horror Man back to celebrate a holly Gialli Christmas with my review of In the Folds of the Flesh.
Have a holly jolly Christmas, it's the best time of the year.
This video will serve as a start to a brand new tradition. Usually, I don't upload a video on Christmas Day. It's sort of a vacation day. And I figure everyone wants to celebrate the holiday with their family and friends. But then I was thinking, I usually have a video uploaded on Halloween as part of the 31 Days of Horror. And the last couple of years, I've also been doing Thanksgiving theater on Thanksgiving. So why not do a Christmas Day review? A while back, when Jason and I were discussing ideas for a different sort of challenge, I kept toying with the phrase, Holly Gialli Christmas. It just sounded so perfect. And ultimately, it's that which will be our new Christmas tradition. From this point on, every year on Christmas Day, Jason and I will be reviewing a Giallo. Now, of course, they won't necessarily be Christmas related, but that's where the name Holly Gialli Christmas comes in. Not only that, but it's also fitting for me being Italian. My Christmases are celebrated with a big Italian family. So, reviewing an Italian horror film on Christmas Day works. For our very first Holly Gialli Christmas review, Jason and I decided to go with In the Folds of the Flesh. Jason had watched it earlier this year and then recommended it to me, saying it was the most bizarre Giallo he had ever seen. And based on other reviews I had read, that seems to be the consensus. In the Folds of the Flesh is universally known as one of, if not the most, bizarre Gialli. Obviously, I had to see it, but unfortunately, the DVD and very limited Blu-ray were both out of print. I was lucky, though, with a little digging online to find a copy of the Severin DVD release for a reasonable price, so I snatched it up. Well, here it is. And Jason and I watched it together in anticipation for our Holly Gialli Christmas. In the Folds of the Flesh is a 1970 Giallo, and as others have stated, including Jason, it's the most bizarre Giallo I've ever seen. I mean that, though, in the best way possible. This movie was a trip. You know those sort of everything but the kitchen sink films? Well, this is one of those, only it has the kitchen sink. It has two of them. It's also one of those movies you want to say so much about, but can't because it'll spoil it. Even while Jason and I were watching it, he kept saying he wanted to say so much to me, but he didn't want to spoil it for me either. Needless to say, as soon as it ended, though, we had a lot to discuss. To keep it as vague as possible, In the Folds of the Flesh is set on a villa estate, where those who visit are killed off one by one. There are pet vultures, incest, twist after twist, multiple decapitations, a cyanide bath, and gratuitous nudity. The location is desolate and beautiful, and so are the women in the film. The movie is psychedelic and wacky. It feels like a Giallo meets Mexican soap opera. It's so over the top. I guess that would make In the Folds of the Flesh sort of an Italian horror soap opera. It's easy to think you might have it all figured out within the first 5 minutes, but you'd be dead wrong. Jason said the same thing the first time he watched it, and I can understand why. But then the movie takes you in a different direction, and then another, and then another. It's like taking every back road possible to get to your destination. In the Folds of the Flesh is dubbed in English for this Severin DVD release, and the dubbing just adds to the experience. It's hilarious and entertaining. In fact, along with being the most bizarre Giallo I've ever seen, this may be the most entertaining of all as well. The funny thing is, too, while the movie comes across as convoluted as you're watching it, It all ties up nicely in the end, and actually makes sense. That can't be said about all Gialli. This just proves that In the Folds of the Flesh was cleverly written. It's an intelligent Giallo. The kills, including the multiple decapitations and the cyanide bath, are so awesome. There's topless nudity and plenty of full frontal nudity. The characters are completely deranged. And all of those twists and turns make for one exciting viewing experience. I wish I could say more about In the Folds of the Flesh, but I really can't. This is truly one of those films that has to be seen to be believed. Oh, and I almost forgot. Coincidentally, In the Folds of the Flesh does have a Christmas connection. That wasn't even planned. It's kind of crazy how that worked out. In the Folds of the Flesh was a fantastic first watch and review for our new Holly Gialli Christmas tradition. If you're a fan of Gialli, exploitation, or just incredibly strange films, I cannot recommend this one enough, if you can find a reasonably priced copy. Have you seen In the Folds of the Flesh? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. I'd love to discuss this one further. I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas, or a Holly Gialli Christmas. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and, be kind, subscribe.